Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakrasidharinam Sahasrasirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim. Namaste, dear friends. In our understanding and sojourn in the path of the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we have already understood what are the chitta vrittis, the five chitta vrittis which Patanjali is giving, and he is also telling about the twofold path of abhyasa vairagya, abhyasa, the dispassion, and the vairagya which is dispassion, and abhyasa which is the path, the way to travel, which is consistent practice through which you can get rid of the modifications of the mind and ultimately get established in your true self or true nature. And then he goes on to talks about the different aspects of samadhi, because samadhi, yoga itself means, as per the Vyasa Bhashya, yoga samadhi. Yoga means samadhi. Ultimately, what you get as the destination is what the meaning of the whole process is also is what it defines. So yoga is samadhi. And therefore he starts giving you the different layers of samadhi. Samadhi is not something just like that, you get it immediately and then you finish off. It is a step-by-step progress of self-realization or self-unfoldment that you get to see. And Patanjali goes on to say the different types of samadhi, the vitarka vichara, ananda asmita, and the saguna, nirguna, and all those things, savichara, nirvichara, savitarka, nirvitarka, and dharmameda samadhi, and all that he goes on to say, which I restrict to talk about now in this day. In your next advanced courses that you can study more deep about all the layers of samadhi. Having said this, then Patanjali moves on to tell about the other aspects of the progress in yoga, that always the path is not just straight and very easy for us to travel. We would always get to face a lot of obstacles, sometimes a lot of hindrance may come in the path, and Patanjali tries to tell about that, the antarayas, which are the obstacles which may come. A few to quote vyadhi, for example, the diseases that we would get. Somebody has taken their path strong enough to go in the path and progress in the yoga, but even though he practices, sometimes because of the purva karma vasanas or because of various other, he is still not able to overcome the chitta vrittis. Because the manakleshas, the disturbance in the mind is more, because of this adi, he may get a vyadi, and this vyadi may prove a disturbance to the physical practice of asana and everything. So ultimate progress in yoga is hindered because of this vyadi. Similarly, his not being steady, stable in the human body, in the practice, the different chanchala nature, the different diversions of the mind that he gets, all those can be reasons for you to get a hindrance. So in detail he is telling about these antarayas, which also it's not much to learn at this point of time. I skip that and then go into the kleshas, which are very important for us to know. The kleshas are 5. In the second chapter, the sadhana pada, after mentioning about the kriya yoga, as already we have seen, is tapas, swadhyaya, and ishvara pranidhana. Tapas, the austerity or penance, and to forbear the difficulties, hindrance, and then overcome that in a better way. Tapas, how do we do it? By doing the swadhyaya of understanding one's own self under the guidance of the master, and who would guide you in the light of the scriptures. So that swadhyaya you do, and ultimate benefit of swadhyayat Ishtadevata Samprayogaha, as Patanjali says, you attain your Ishtadevata, the Ishvara, who is the Guravasya Guru, who is the master of all masters, and surrender to him, and then you attain Ishvara Pranidhanat Samadhi. Through the Ishvara Pranidhana, you attain Samadhi, is what the way of Kriya Yoga is. But then, why should we do this Kriya Yoga? For Klesha Tanukarana Samadhi Bhavanarthascha. So to do the tanukarana, to mellow down the kleshas, and once you mellow down the kleshas, once you bring the kleshas down, then automatically you can attain the state of samadhi. So what are these kleshas? Klesha is, very meaning of klesha means that which cause you pain. So that which cause you a suffering is what is klesha. Here is giving 5 klesha: avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. Avidya is lack of vidya, lack of knowledge. Vidya, and avidya is lack of knowledge. So ignorance. So ignorance, when you don't know something, it gives you a lot of pain, right? And sometimes they say ignorance is bliss. Means you don't know that you have to know something. You don't know that you have to know something, then that's fine. That ignorance is bliss. You are better in that position. Let it be like that. But you know that you have to know something, and you still don't know that. You have not got that knowledge. Then that is a pain. That avidya is a pain. So avidya. Second is asmita. This asmita here is again the sense of that I-ness. That I have done this great. I have achieved it. It is mine. This belongs to me. And this kind of asmi means me. Aham asmi. So this asmita is a state of that I-ness, which is also a klesha, which creates a lot of problem. And because of this asmita, that lot of family problems, lot of career problems, everything happens. We need to let go this I, right? That is very important. So this possessiveness in families also becomes because of asmita state. So in fact, avidya is a cause to asmita also. If you have the vidya, the knowledge, ya vidya savimuchyate. Vidya is that which makes you liberated, that which makes you free, right? So because of the lack of vidya, that you go into the sense of asmita also. Avidya, asmita. And because of asmita, what happens? You get attached to certain things. This is mine, mera. Nanu, nannadu emba narakadolage biddu. Purandasa says, this is the naraka. Naraka is not something, the hell is not somewhere else. When you have the sense of me minus, that is where the hell is there. And when you don't have this, when you have the good qualities, that is where the heaven is. So here, raga is getting attached to something, that too much of attachment, with a selfish attitude, is what is raga. And once you are attached to one particular thing, automatically a sense of hatred towards others, it also starts. Dvesha. So dvesha is hatred, raga is attachment. So avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha is getting over attached to your own human body and not having a preparedness to die. Death is inevitable, my dear friends. That all of us, jatasya dhruvo mrityu. Once you are born, you are going to die for certain. If not today, it's tomorrow. And recent pandemic has taught us a lot of lessons about death. We need to be, understanding this. That's why in the olden days, the elders, the seniors would always have a prayer. Anayasena maranam vina dhainyena jivanam. Anayasena maranam. I should not have trouble in dying. Nowadays, people are struggling themselves. They are not ready to die. So putting into the ICU and giving them so much of intensive care. And afterwards, within 2-3, if today he should have died, you are postponing his death by 5 days and he is going to die. Rather, we should prepare. That mind should be there with every individual. That I should, I have to die as I have been born. Death is inevitable. I have not become Amara. I have not become Mrityunjaya. I'm going to die. But this preparedness for death is not there with most people. So the fear, out of all fear that we have, of course I know you all have a fear over your wife, or you have fear over your boss. Nowadays we are all fear. We have a great fear over the corona and all those things. But more than any of this fear, the greatest of all fear is the fear of death. And abhinivesha is thus fear of death and not having the preparedness to die, getting attached to one's own life. So here we need to give up that and be prepared that even if today I'm going to die, I'm going to accept this death, I'm going to kiss my death and welcome it and go in a peaceful way. And these are the dhiras, the great people. Imagine all our soldiers who are fighting for the country, whichever country it could be India, Dubai, it could be Singapore, America, wherever. We have the soldiers of our respective countries who have this sense of being ready. They have the courage to fight and they know that they could also lose their life. But then that preparedness that whatever, even if I die, let me die for my country. Let me fight and kill my enemy and then die. That's the kind of sense of warriorship that we need to have. If not, we are having this klesha of abhinivesha, having attached to the death, the fear of death and having attached to the body and not ready to give up this body is abhinivesha. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha are the 5 kleshas which Patanjali is talking about. And we need to get rid of all those, he says. Also, we need to understand the chitta vritti when I said. So, chitta vritti nirodha, to stop the cessation of the modification of mind, that nirodha has to happen, I said. So, but when ultimately before going to nirodha, what are the different stages of mind are the chitta bhumika that we need to understand. Again, here he says that you have different levels of the mind. The first that which is there is muda. Muda is a dull state of mind. You know, Muda is dull state of mind. That's where somebody who is very dull, we call him also as a Muda. When somebody is very dull, he is very kind of depressed, not very active. So we call him also as a Muda because that's the state of the mind, the state of the Chitta, which is Muda. And Kshipta is the next state. From this dull state, it becomes a depressed state. It is having a vritti, it is working, but it is in a depressive state. And then the Vikshipta, which is an oscillation between the pairs of opposites. Here the mind is being oscillated, being football between the two pairs of opposites. It could be good and bad, profit and loss, or it could be the success and failure. It could be your wife and the mother. It could be always oscillating between the two aspects, which is the vikshipta, the pair, which is the mind which is oscillating between the pairs of opposites. And these are all the negative aspects of the mind, the muda, kshipta, vikshipta, and then the fourth, which is the ekakrata. Ekakrata is the focused state of mind, slowly getting channelized to the abhyasa and vairagya, slowly getting channelized to the ashtanga yoga and all, and finally it becomes a nirodha, where the stoppage to the modifications of mind. In the muda state also there is stoppage, there is no thought, but there is a dull stoppage. It is not on your abhyasa that you have stopped it, nor it is the true nature in which you are established. It is a dullness, the tamasic in nature. So muda is tamasic, vikshipta in between, which is rajasic, and nirodha is the sattvic state of the mind. So we have three states of the mind, which is the gunas, what we call the nature of the mind. So the tamasic, lethargic, lazy, dull, and then rajasic, which is active, vibrant, dynamic state of the mind, and then the sattvic, which is the pious, very calm state of the mind. So in this 5 stages of the chitta bhumikas, what we have seen, the muda and kshipta, which are in the state of the tamasic nature, and then the vikshipta is a rajasic in nature, and ekakrita is moving towards sattva, and nirodha is the complete sattvic state of the mind which happens there. So these are the 5 stages of which the mind is there. So chitta bhumika they are called, and from there we understood what kleshas, what are the different pains that which happen to the mind, which are the different reasons for the problems. Again we have seen, and then we have seen further after giving the kleshas, then Patanjali gives you about the ashtanga yoga, the yama niyama asana pranayama pratyahara dharana dhyana samadhi, about which we have seen earlier. And one more important thing that we need to see here is the aspect of chitta prasadanam. The chitta vritti is fine. These are the problems which are creating to the mind. But then how do you bring the mind to the calmness, to the state of equipoise? A wonderful, excellent behavioral therapy which Patanjali is giving here, which is called chitta prasadanam. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate. Krishna also tells in the Gita. So prasada is the calmness, the prashamana of the mind. Prasada is not just the food what we get at the temple and all. Of course, that is called prasada because that also, even that food calms your mind. It gives you a divine thought, elevates you. We should not just think it as a aspect of a food, but it is a different aspect of the divine which makes you to calm down your mind again. That's why it's called prasada there also. So chitta prasadanam here is attained. The equipoise of mind, its calmness of mind, its balance of mind is achieved by a behavioral therapy which he is giving. It's called the pratipaksha bhavana. You work in a different way here. How do we do it? He is saying this, that there are 4 aspects: maitri, karuna, mudita, upeksha. Repeat: maitri, karuna, mudita, upeksha. Maitri is the attitude of friendship. Karuna is attitude of compassion. And mudita is attitude of being happy. And upeksha is to ignore. These 4 are there. Now, to whom do you show your friendship? To whom do you show your compassion? With whom do you be happy? And whom do you ignore in life? Right? This is what we need to understand. Then he next, in the continuing of the sutra, he says, Sukha, Dukkha, Punya, Punya Vishayanam, bhavanatam chitta prasadanam. Sukha dukkha. Sukha we know is happiness. Dukkha is sorrow. And punya is auspicious, good. Apunya is bad. So one who does sukha, one who is already sukha, one who is very happy, make friendship with him. You are already dull, you are already depressed, you are already in sorrow, you are already in misery, you are already in a problem. Now, if you make friendship with another person who is also problematic, who is also having problem or thing, he is not going to help you to solve, he is not going to inspire you, rather put you down further, and both of you together will go into the downfall. Instead, make your friendship with somebody who is already happy, who is inspired, and who can make you inspired. Find out that person and follow him. Become a friend, Maitri, Bhava with him, with the Sukha. Okay, somebody is Dukkha, even who is so close to you, is your friend, but he is now very much depressed, he is very much in dull state, he is very much in the state of sorrowfulness or misery, he is in Dukkha. What you will do? Don't show friendship with him, rather show compassion to him. Even if you have friendship, that moment when he is sad, he is sorrow, what will you do? You will not just go and say high five, but you will just go and have a way to solve his problem. You will go and help him. So compassion, and compassion is not just showing in words, not just showing in anything, but in action, a service that you need to do. Help him to come out of the problem and elevate him to the state of sukha. So show the attitude of friendship to somebody who is happy. Show the attitude of karuna, which is compassion to somebody who is unhappy. And the third, when somebody is doing some good auspicious work, some good work, what happens with many people, we get asuya, jealous that he is doing something which I wanted to do. Right? When he is doing, be happy about it and go and join hands with him. The problem always with the good people, I tell you, my dear friends, bad forces, bad people join hands quickly, immediately. Right? Whereas good people with their own ego that they have, that they don't join hands easily, they don't come along with each other, rather develop the attitude of the asuya, which is asuya is more seen in good doing people than even the bad. Bad people don't have this asuya. They only are happy, he is also doing the wrong thing which I wanted to do, so let me join hands. They get mudita, happy towards the wrongdoers and join hands. It should be the ulta way. That's why Pratipaksha Bhavanam Patanjali is perhaps saying that we need to, be happy here with the people who are doing good rather than being jealous, or rather being, let him do something, let him do something, so you let me do something else. You don't think like this. Join hands. Be happy with what he is doing, and that will enhance your sukha. So you will become again a Maitri. So it is interconnected. So be happy with what the good person is doing, the punya is doing, and apunya, somebody is doing bad, even though he is your friend, he knows that he was good. So ignore, like Vibhishana, when he got to know that his own brother Ravana was doing wrong thing. He has abducted Sita, who is Rama's wife. He did this, he came out, he walked out. Upeksha, he ignored the person and he walked out, right, of Ravana. So that's how we should give up the bad company with no reasons, no compromise there. You get to know they're doing apunya, bad work they're doing, then upeksha, come out of such persons. Walk out. Don't be there. It could be anybody, it could be your own relations, it could be your own colleagues, it could be your friends. Be away from them, ignore and give out, let go, and then come out is what upeksha is. So Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha, Punya, Sukha, Dukkha, Punya, Apunya. So mash these and you get Chitta Prasadanam, the way to come out of your problems and be happy. That mind becomes a calm state, and therefore through Chitta Prasadanam, Chitta Shuddhi happens, Chitta Vritti Nirodha happens. When Chitta Vritti Nirodha happens, that is what yoga is. This is what Patanjali is giving us, a wonderful way to travel ahead in the path of yoga. May we all understand these, apply these, practice and progress in our states, in our ways to attain perfection through yoga.